I'm Tim Robinson, Editor-in-Chief of Aerospace Magazine, and with me is...
Steve Bridgewater, Deputy Editor, Aerospace Magazine, Royal Aeronautical Society.
And as you can probably tell, we're coming to you from a very windy location at the 2026 Singapore Airshow. What a week.
If we lose our notes halfway through this, we are going to have to wing it because everything is blowing around, but yeah, what a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit quieter on in terms of deals, but there's still been a whole week of interesting stuff to see. Tech and innovation. We're here in the gateway to Asia Pacific. It's a big MRO hub and lots of exciting stuff.
It's been brilliant. It's been a really good week. As I've said in the preview, you see things here at Singapore that you don't see at lots of other trade events around the world. So yeah, particularly interesting week.
So what do we got in terms of the news then? Commercial. So as I say, commercial has been a little bit on the quieter side. We did have Air Cambodia signing for 10 Boeing 737-8s.
Yeah, MAX 8s. I happened to be walking past the Boeing stand as that was announced. That was good news. Also, Air Borneo ordered 8 ATRs. So they've ordered 5 72-600s and 3 ATR 42-600s.
Yeah, I mean, some of these little airlines that you perhaps don't hear about too much. Yep. We had Tiger Taiwan signing for 4 Airbus A321neos. So that was Airbus getting an order. And
because one of the big things here in Singapore is the attendance by the Chinese. So Comac are here. They've got a C919 in the flying display. And they've also got a C919 and 2 C909s on static display. And during the week, they've announced that they've sold 6 C909s to Shaanxi Victory General Aviation. They're going to use them for firefighting. It's just been approved in China, C909 mod. So they've got 3 firm deals and 3 options. So that's the firefighting version of the C909.
Yeah, so not an airline order, but an airliner being used for
absolutely
a special mission. And then also, Singapore is also it's an MRO hub. It's a training hub as well, and it's going to get the region's first 777X simulator from CAE.
Yep, good. And that probably sums up the show for me. It's not so much airline orders, it's the ancillary, whether it's MRO, whether it's engine refurbishment, whether it's the sales backup that goes with all of that. That's been the real news here rather than hard airframe sales or lease deals.
Yeah. Defence obviously has been front and centre of the show. We've got an uncertain world. Countries are rearming. Yep. So we've had some defence news going on. Yep. Uzbekistan has become the newest Embraer C390 operator.
Yeah, I was in the press conference when that was announced with Embraer. So Uzbekistan, first 390, undisclosed number. They were previously on as an undisclosed order on Embraer's sales backlog. And they've also announced that Philippines have ordered the A29, the Super Tucano. Again, they were a previously undisclosed customer and they're receiving an undisclosed number now, firm order of Super Tucanos.
And Embraer's also got the first C390 for South Korea ready for delivery, hasn't it?
They showed a photograph of that, so it's still in Brazil at the moment. It's been rolled out, test flown, it's flown to a facility in Brazil now to be fitted out with South Korean-centric equipment that they've got as part of their order.
And there's also significant news from Airbus and the Republic of Singapore Air Force. In that they announced that the A330 MRTT has been fully certificated for automated air-to-air refueling. So that means you no longer need a human boom operator to automatically steer and engage the boom when refueling F-15 and F-16 jets at the moment. There's actually a tanker there over on the display behind us. A really impressive capability, and what that does, not only is it refueling piloted fighters, but if you think about it in the future, you could have UCAVs being refueled. Yep. So how long a tanker stays in the air, it's hours and hours, it's on a tanker track. Imagine that refueling its own escort UCAVs.
Brilliant.
What else?
We've got Boeing. Sadly from Boeing, they've said they've abandoned their sales campaign now in India for the Indonesia, for the F-15EX.
Yeah.
I think you were in the press conference for that one, weren't you?
So there was always some sort of kind of questions about could Indonesia afford F-15s in the first place? But it's confirmed there. So we'll be interested to see what they decide to what's their alternative choice going forward.
Yeah.
What else we got? Well, we got the J35. Big push, sales push here from China, AVIC on the J35A. That's their twin-engine stealth fighter. There's a huge model dominating the display inside. It's not here in person, as it were, and it's also on the side of the chalet back there. So, an indication of China's growing confidence, really, in its military exports there.
We knew drones were going to be big news here in Singapore, but it's been anti-drone technology which has really been at the fore for me. I've seen lots of stands from around the world actually promoting the latest in anti-drone, including a few people walking around with anti-drone guns. Did you see those at one point during the week?
Yeah, so we've had kinetic sort of like solutions. We've also had there was a company on the stand with lasers.
Yep.
Well, I think more than one with lasers, and obviously people selling drones as well as that. And then finally, in the defence news, interestingly, that Airbus said yesterday there's Asia-Pacific interest in the Airbus A321 XLR as a maritime patrol aircraft. Now, that idea has been, converting the A320 family into special mission maritime patrol has been around a while. They've let Boeing get into the lead there. P8 has been developed. It's become the yardstick to beat. But it's interesting now that if Asia-Pacific countries are now looking at that and, well, what is the alternative to P8? What other options are out there? Interesting thing to watch.
It is. Well, that tallies in with something Embraer was saying about the age of transport aircraft here in Asia-Pacific. With, over the next, by the end of the decade, they're predicting a market for 200 new transport aircraft, with the average age of things like C-130s in the region now something like 35, 37 years old. So again, we've got that sort of turboprop market coming through. We saw before the show that Singapore had placed an order for P8s to replace the Fokker 50. So again, not just turboprops, but MPA as well, with that transition from aging turboprops into new jets. So I can see the A321 fitting into that niche.
And thinking about Singapore as well, and its Air Force, we didn't get the first Singaporean F-35 here at the show. But it is in build. It has apparently officials have signed it on the production line, so it should be pretty close, imminent. I think possibly in seeing it kind of delivered.
Okay. Well, let's move on to tech and innovation, shall we?
Okay.
You were at the A-Star conference, weren't you?
So yeah, I was at the A-Star conference. There's various forums and conferences going on this week. One of the big themes there was Aerospace Leaders Forum. Technology Leaders Forum, sorry. AI, and more AI, particularly in MRO. This is a big MRO hub, but they were talking about predictive maintenance, how much time that saves, and the sort of sky's the limit really on sort of getting things in the air faster.
Okay. ST Engineering, the local team here in Singapore, unveiled a new drone as well, didn't they? They got their DRN 600 cargo drone. And again, it's something we've been saying in the magazine for a long time now. There's lots of people pushing towards passenger eVTOLs. I think drones are really going to be the leading light for a lot of this. And interesting, looking at a lot of the development here, including the 600, that drone delivery seems like that, not just the final mile, but that sort of the intermediate distance as well is becoming more and more of a market for people. Yeah.
And one of my highlights for this week was the unveiling of a new eVTOL, or an eVTOL demonstrator by Singapore's NTU, and that is it's a university project led by Professor James Wang.
Always good value is Professor Wang.
Who is a Royal Aeronautical Society Gold Medal Award winner for a previous eVTOL project, and this is the first aircraft. We figure it's the first aircraft to be developed in Singapore for 60 years.
Yeah.
Well, ever.
Ever, yeah.
So completely developed, designed. He's got a lot of partners on board. This is like an 8-meter sort of subscale demonstrator, and it's a great. He was so enthusiastic, and to see his students there, having this thing unveiled at a major international air show. What a treat.
And of course, he's a past colleague of our current president, Dr. Alistair Wood, as well. So a nice reunion for them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
News from CFM as well. Singapore is to test the CFM, the RAeS open rotor technology. We've seen this being the almost like the unducted fan, if you like. How's this going to work on airports? So there's a study going to take place here in Singapore to look at how that will integrate into existing airport technology.
I think that's a really interesting one because, one of the things from that is people are going to be trying to curious about is noise.
Yes.
Is obviously modern techniques, modern materials, modern CFD modelling. Previously, that was one of the things that let the open rotor down back in the 1990s, 1980s,
80s. Yeah, probably late 80s.
UDF.
Yeah, that's right.
UDF, was noise. So getting an airport on hand to try kind of trial that and trial the noise sort of profile is or look at the noise profile is very important.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well, 2 years ago, when we were in Singapore, the big news was ST Engineering had got their Airfish demonstrator here, haven't they? Their small 2-seat piston-powered aircraft. In the meantime, they have been working on their Airfish. I think it's the 6, isn't it? It's the big one.
Yeah.
Here in Singapore, and they have announced that they're due to start ferry services for that later this year.
Yeah.
So, wing and ground effects are kind of planned in everyday service here in Singapore later this year.
Yeah. So maybe 2 years' time we'll be able to get the winging ground effect to the show.
That'd be amazing.
We've also had a Windrunner,
Yep.
Radia and the Windrunner. That's going to be the world's biggest aircraft. They were debuting at the show for the first time. At Singapore for the first time. And Vertical were here.
Yeah, Vertical here with a large model of Velo. So the eVTOL that they debuted in London just before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went to the launch of that.
So interesting for me to see that for the first time. And they've now got a grant to look into EMS applications here in Singapore. So again, we've been saying for a while that emergency medical services is a potential route into eVTOL services before we get everyday passenger services.
And it's also showing that Singapore is really this sort of tech hub innovation where innovation comes together and kind of leading the way really to some of these ideas. And also seaplanes.
So we've done Plans, we've done eVTOLs. Let's talk about hybrid electric seaplanes. Tidal Flights, they've got their Polaris, and they've signed a deal here at the show for 10 aircraft for the Indian seaplane operator Miha, which is the largest seaplane operator in India. So I think we've had the whole gamut, really, haven't we, at this show of whether it's defence, whether it's airlines, whether it's eVTOLs, hybrid electric seaplanes, Plans, boxes ticked.
Yeah, you name it. But also this year, space.
Indeed.
So space is obviously a growing sector. It's very dynamic and it's getting bigger and bigger at these international air shows. This year, we had the big news from the Space Summit. That wasn't at the air show, that was kind of sort of downtown, but the launch of the National Space Agency of Singapore. That is going to be starting on the 1st of April. They're going to have their own NASA.
Brilliant.
So the Space Summit, and also at the Space Summit, there was some really interesting stuff on there, like a New Horizons spacesuit, a next-gen spacesuit, and also launchers looking to equatorial launch there.
So yeah, it's been a busy week. What are your highlights, Tim? Let's pick 5 things each.
Okay, what are the highlights? So I think the F-35A display, Royal Australian Air Force was here, and they were polling it around.
I think that's the most, what's the word I could look for? Bullish, the most aggressive display from an F-35. So I've seen US F-35As, I've seen the F-35C demoed from the US, seen obviously the B. I think the Australian one was punchy. That's the word. It was a really punchy display.
And it kept it quite close as well.
Yeah. Before the show started, actually, I'm actually going to tour around Rolls-Royce's facility here, where they're building fan blades for the Trent. A lot of it was on background, so limited information we can share. But to actually see the process of getting these titanium sheets coming in and how they're moulded and blended and polished and made into the fan, those beautiful sculpted fan blades, that was really interesting to get that behind the scenes tour. And of course, Rolls-Royce, a massive organisation here in Singapore as well as back in the UK.
Okay, so my other highlights of this week, well, as I said before, the unveiling of the NTU eVTOL, that was really good fun. A little bit of a preview we got on it, and just amazing to see the enthusiasm there from students there.
Yeah. I'm going to stick on engines, actually. Because on the same day I went to see Rolls-Royce, I was also at Pratt & Whitney, which is the RTX company, to look at their Eagle services here in Singapore, where they are doing refurbishment on engines that are coming in, but actually how they're using robotics to streamline that process. So now when an engine comes in from an airline, It's mounted into a set jig in the floor, and a cobot goes around it and takes 300 digital photographs. But of course, because it's locked in the ground and it's on a rope, it's the exact same 300 photographs on every engine that comes in. So they're able now to build up a database of the condition that engines are coming in. So that's one thing. But then they've got 3 separate robots through the factory. So they've got Alfred, they've got Athena, and they've got Atlas. They've called the 3 robots that are actually streamlining everything from taking bits apart to actually reassembly. You imagine you've got some very, very precise assembly that goes into an engine unit. And it's a very repetitive sort of thing. They've managed to reduce some of those things down by about 78% manpower. So incredible, real refinement in what they're doing.
Okay, back to me. So one of a highlight from the flying display, I think, was seeing the J10Cs of the August the 1st display team. So they came in and did a very impressive display. Don't know what they've got in the yellow dye there, but
that lingers, doesn't it? I didn't want to breathe that in, I have to say. It looked
so it was nice. It's a rare thing that you don't see elsewhere, and I think the interesting thing there was something that perhaps many people didn't pick up, is that it flew directly to the show, supported by air-to-air refueling, and that's sending a message about the capabilities of Chinese air power and power projection. It's something that few air forces can master, and you look at how America projects power around the globe. It's those tankers.
Indeed, brilliant. I'm going to stick on a rarity in the flying display. The Malaysia Air Force were here with their Sukhoi Su-30 MKM, which has got the 3D thrust vectoring nozzles on. But I think the outstanding thing at the show has been flares. Flares are in fashion this week.
Flares back in fashion.
Flares are back in fashion. I don't think they've been out of fashion, really. But here, so you've got the Su-30 was throwing out flares left, right, and centre, including while it was doing the 3D vectoring manoeuvres. What else? The Apache, the home team, Republic of Singapore, with their F-16 Apache demo, lots of flares there as well. But that Su-30 was something I'd not seen before, and that was really spectacular.
Yeah, so another one of the highlights we've mentioned before was the Space Summit. It got hived off into its own little exhibition, but it was just fascinating walking around there and just seeing all the companies that in the region in Singapore. And then how dynamic the space sector is. Singapore is launching a mini SAR satellite constellation next year. It's going to have 4 SAR satellites, very, very advanced ST engineering again.
Yep.
But again, it's and quantum, a satellite for quantum communication. Again, really, really interesting stuff from this Space Summit.
Well, I'm going to go polar opposite then in that case. If you're going to talk about quantum satellites, I'm going to talk about cardboard drones. One extreme to the Japanese company here with a cardboard fixed-wing drone, delivered flat pack. So it is a relatively waterproof cardboard. So they said you can fly it for up to an hour in rain. But for a multitude of uses. So obviously you can use this for swarming drone technology. It's got a hatch on the top that you can load with like the camera equipment or EW, anything like that. But they're saying they're finding increasing use for this in actually simulating swarming drones. So we talked earlier about anti-drone technology. You've got it's $2,500 each for these, and you can put loads of them up. You can create that swarming effect for actually doing the anti-drone trials. So that was an interesting one for me.
On my final highlight this week, I think was probably a chat with Whisk. I've changed it what I've written here, but I remembered it. So a chat with Whisk, had a look at their inside their cabin mock-up they've got here. And what was really interesting, obviously, if you talk to if you've been following the Whisk story, they're going to full autonomous flight, a full autonomous taxi, no pilots. But one of the interesting things is how they're making it more accessible. So the inside of the cabin, there is Braille. And there's Braille. They've got handles there, and one of the ideas is going forward is maybe not on the Gen 6, but the future gens is to have the seat. One of the seats will be able to come out, and you can put a wheelchair in behind it. So they're really thinking there about not just autonomous flight, but accessible flight.
Flight for everybody, quite literally. Flight for everybody. Fantastic.
Okay, and you've heard our favourite highlights from this week, and now over to our president, Dr. Alistair Wood, to hear his. We're here on day 3 of the Singapore Airshow 2026, and with me is RAeS President, Dr. Alistair Wood.
Tim.
How are you?
Very good, thanks. Delighted to be here on day 3. It's been a busy week, as you know.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's been a busy week for us. So, what have you been up to?
There's been so much going on. Huge buzz in this whole air show, just highlighting how Singapore is so important to this region, and just seeing the energy that is created around here. So I've been onto many stands, a lot of our corporate partners as well, visiting them, having discussions with them, leading on to lots of conversations on innovation, and that's been a major theme throughout. And there's been a lot going on the innovation side, and also the conferences surrounding the air show itself.
That's right. Yeah, I mean it's real stuff like centre for MRO, for training, but also tech and innovation.
Yes.
Fantastic. What are your top 3 highlights then?
Well, the top 3 has to be the buzz.
Yep.
and the energy. So that's probably number 1. Number 2, innovation. There's so much of it here. There's lots going on. And the other third is the conferences surrounding the air show.
Okay.
On the innovation side, absolutely delighted to catch up with Professor James Wang, a former colleague of mine and friend. He's now with the Yangnang Technical University, and they've developed a 8-meter drone with their students. Delighted to see the unveiling of that on Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah.
As you mentioned, MRO is a big subject in this region. Lots of MRO facilities, huge facilities with Rolls-Royce, for example, and they've the A-Star conference on Monday was looking at advanced MRO and AI.
Yep.
It's been a constant theme throughout this week. AI. Had I was privileged to talk at the SATEC conference yesterday, the Singapore Aerospace Technology and Engineering Conference on AI.
Brilliant.
And that was split into 2 sessions, one AI use in the military and the other in civil applications. And it just went through how important that development, that technology is in everything that we do now.
Wow. Okay. What's your third highlight?
I think I've covered them. The buzz, the innovation, and the conferences.
Okay. All right.
They were fantastic there. And catching up with a lot of old friends, corporate partners, being able to go and talk on the stands with them, seeing what they're up to. Some really exciting things coming on.
And obviously we've got a local branch here as well,
Yes.
so you've been able to catch up with people who are from the local branch, or potential people who might be interested in the local branch.
There's an awful lot of interest in the local branch. I'm off up to the Singapore Institute of Technology later on to give a lecture to the branch and students there. Created a lot of interest. They are keen to form a branch, re-energise the branch here is probably the best description, and take it forward, and that is really exciting, given the importance of this region.
And did you manage to catch any of the flying display? I mean, obviously here in Singapore it shares the airspace of a major airport, so maybe not as packed as some of the big air shows, but any highlights?
I caught some of it. It's always, dare I say it, the noisy ones steal the show. Seeing the F-35s.
Yeah.
Is always impressive. On the civil side, the A350, that defies gravity. They just able to hang that in space, and that is fantastic to watch.
And obviously the rotary wing, the stuff. Your day job is rotary connected. So we had the Sarang display team from India.
Yes.
And also the joint Apache and F-16 sort of demo from the Republic of Singapore Air Force.
Yes.
You don't see that very often.
No, it's very true. So yes, great to see.
Fantastic. Well, that's it from us from the Singapore Air Show. So we will see you next time. And looking forward to your presidential year ends in
May. But hopefully get along to Farnborough and hopefully meet up with people in Farnborough and have a look at again what's going on in the buzz there.
Yeah, and also just a reminder, you've got your safety. There's possibly a safety paper coming out. So if you're involved in that sort of area of aerospace, watch out for that, because that'll be coming out soon. Okay, see you next time. Well, it's about time to wrap up here. We hope you enjoyed all our video content this week. Big thanks to our camera person, all-round media star, Roy there, who's been following us around all week and making all our videos. Where can people keep up to date with the Royal Aeronautical Society and the mag?
You can find us on our Facebook, on our website, which is aerosociety.com. You'll find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn as Stephen Bridgewater, Stephen with a PH, and you're on LinkedIn as well now.
I'm now on LinkedIn. Yes,
Lord.
Come stalk me on a different social media. I'm still there on X. X is where you get the bad aviation puns and the silly jokes, and as well as the news. Views, questions, feedback, do send them in, do like, subscribe, share it, send it to your friends. Reminder, we're on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and we'll see you in the next show, won't we?
I'm going to go and find a cool drink.
Yes, we will do.
Again. Cheers.
See you next time.